Hey there, YouTube. Yardism here. It's Friday, so it's time for another Top 5 Friday, per usual. A little different. You see, I'm not sitting on my porch. I'm in a car. I'm not driving. She's driving. That's my better half. Today is our anniversary. We've been married for 38 years or something like that.
16.
16. So that's 114 in dog years. But I asked her if she'd help me make my top 5 video. We didn't rehearse this. She doesn't even know what I'm about to do, so we'll see how that goes. See if we can be impromptu. So, Top 5 Friday. Top 5 things that keep a marriage going, keep a marriage healthy and successful, and whatever you want to call it. So, I'm not an expert on this by any means.
Say that again.
And I'm sure whatever 5 things we come up with, both of us probably have done good and bad in that category. So, this is just my top 5 list, or our top 5 list. If you find something in here that helps you, well, then that's a good thing. So number 1, let's see. Like I said, we didn't talk about it or anything. We're just riffing off the top of our heads here.
So, I think grace, it goes along with forgiveness, but just giving someone the benefit of the doubt, you're on the same team. And giving someone a little grace when they need it, and understanding that they're going to do the same for you.
Yep, I need grace every now and then, about 6 times a day. So grace and forgiveness, that's a good thing. I would say something that keeps it healthy and thriving has to be communication. You have to be able to say what you need to say. More importantly, you have to be able to listen to what the other person says. I did a video today on communication, and I think communication, 90% of it's listening. Too many people in a conversation only stop talking to gather their breath. They're not listening to what the other person's saying. They're just waiting for an opportunity to say more. I think everybody's guilty of that sometimes. Listening to each other. What else?
Inside jokes.
And humor. Inside jokes and humor.
That just goes with hanging out together. If you're not friends, you won't have those. We have to be friends.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things for that one, but definitely keeping it funny. Being able to laugh at the other person and have them not get upset at it, and being able to laugh at yourself, being able to be laughed at, because we all do some stupid stuff and some crazy stuff, and it's human nature to laugh when somebody does something silly.
And there's a flip side to that coin that can be unhealthy, and that is sarcasm. I'm not a fan of sarcasm.
And I'm the king
learning.
of sarcasm.
Yeah.
So those 2 things are, they don't often blend. But
He's working on that.
yeah, I'm working on that one. I'm working on it. Sarcasm.
Right.
So the other thing that you said was being friends. That could have its own category,
Like
I think.
number 1.
Yeah. There's a lot of times, we love each other. And we never stop loving each other, but there are times, there's not a lot of times, when we don't like each other for, 10 minutes or a day or a week or whatever.
A week? I've never not liked you for a whole week. Fess up, mister.
Okay, 6 days.
6 days? I want to know when and why.
Yeah, I'm more of a grudge holder than she is. She can
Really? Oh, crud.
She can get upset about something and then 10 minutes later be like,
well, but I'll dredge it up 5 years later.
oh yeah, that's a female thing.
It's different, I guess.
It's like, hey, where did my shoes go? Well, that time you went out to dinner, we it's like, that was when we were,
He's making
old.
this up.
It could be or it could not be relevant, but so that's 4, I think.
Okay, then if there's only one left and it's not at the bottom, I think it's at the top because I just thought of it and it's most important. Is that what's the glue in the marriage? God.
So, marriage is two people decide to get together for whatever reasons, and you go get yourself a little license and stand in front of a judge or a preacher or whoever. But that's not what marriage is. Marriage is a covenant between us two and God. We made a deal with each other and with God over what our marriage is supposed to be and what it will be.
I'm convinced he put us together because we were on opposite coasts. There was no way we would have found each other otherwise. Just saying.
Anyway, if you can't honor that commitment and that covenant, you're going to have problems. You have big problems. And I also think when you're having problems, that's something you can fall back on. And
knowing it's unshakable, that there's a foundation.
I mean, we've said it a few. We've never had problems really, big problems.
Okay.
We've had issues, but we've never had problems where we had to, have a serious.
Okay, anyhow, so
but anyway,
comma.
like we never had, counseling or anything like that.
Right.
But if you can't fall back and lean on and trust that commitment and realize that it's a 3-way deal, not a 2-way deal, like I said, you're going to have problems. And if you do have problems, that's the one thing that you can return to that can fix everything. It's the foundation, and it's unshakable if you have faith in it. And
well, if you're not right with God, you're not going to be right with your spouse, in my opinion.
I agree with that. Because you can't. I mean, there's some things that come up that, as a human, you may have what you think are the answers or whatever, but it's just
stuff.
Temporary stuff, in my opinion. If there's a real problem, you can't solve it. I mean, by yourself anyway. You got to depend on each other, and you got to depend on God.
There are ways that seem right to a man, but are what fools do. I can't remember that verse, but there's a verse about that.
So anyway, there's your top 5 things that can help your marriage, or make a marriage healthy, or make a marriage fun, or make a marriage tolerable, or whatever.
Tolerable.
So, you got something to add to the list, or you got some ideas, or you heard something that you don't think's right, let me know in the comments and we'll hash it out.
Nice meeting you all.
Yeah.
Gotta watch the traffic.
Yeah, she's driving, so my life's in danger. Have a good weekend, everybody.